Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
We're back.
Back again, huh?
More breaking news. Zolkin has released his official press release, and we got an elder's letter, and we got a bunch of stuff to cover. And it's interesting because we were sitting watching the news, and we started jumping up and down because it's like, oh my God, they're going to have it on our local news.
Yes.
So stay tuned to the end. After we say goodbye, we'll play what was on our news tonight.
Yes. This is going to be a nationwide investigation against the Watchtower Bible Tract Society. And we're going to kind of develop some things in this because there are some things that are happening that you might want to really pay particular attention to. One of the things that Kim and I put in our video yesterday regarding the convention in Phoenix, where it was announced, make your checks payable to the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. Whether you agree or disagree, I really don't care. But from where I sit, I see the Watchtower Bible Tract Society having their money, their donated money, moved away from Watchtower, so that when Watchtower is getting sued, they're hoping that those suing Watchtower will forget to include the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. So for those of you that are thinking about it, that's a little hint that you might want to look into. Don't just sue Watchtower and think it's going to be good enough, because Watchtower is running out of money, so they want the money to go to the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. So you might, this is not legal advice, this is just a very strong personal opinion, look at including the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses and maybe up to 100 Jane Doe corporations associated with Watchtower. But hey, talk to your lawyer about that.
Well, in fact, Mike was on the phone while I was recording this on our local news, so he didn't see the part on our local news, but they pretty much say that Watchtower is, functioning under all these corporations. And so, my goodness. So, we know Zolkin has the press release, and I believe, I'm not going to read it because it's 2 pages long, but I believe it's going to be on his website.
You'll probably leave a link to it, I would imagine.
Yeah, if there's a link to it at this point, I will put it down below.
Yeah, because I think mainly we want to get into the elder's letter, don't we, dear?
Yes, we got an elder's letter, and this elder's letter is actually from back in July, but it took a while for it to get to us. So we want to thank our source very much for getting this to us. And he's given us some comments. And his comments are so good, I think we're just going to read his.
Yes. Well, and I also have a couple of things that I want to add into this too, because when you see the nature of this letter, it's going to involve all of us that have been crashing carts.
Yeah. And before we get into the letter, I just want to mention the November 2019 Study Watchtower, page 15. And I've gotten a lot of emails about this. But when you go to paragraph 8, here they go with the rhetoric, the same old preemptive damage control and propaganda. That's the only thing I can see it as.
Yeah.
Because they know what's coming.
They know.
They know
what's coming.
Yeah.
That's why they're trying to get all their money, all their contributions now funneled to the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses instead of Watchtower.
So let me just read at least part of this paragraph. Satan, the father of the lie, uses those under his control to spread lies about Jehovah and about our brothers and sisters. Satan. It's all Satan's fault. For instance, apostates publish lies and distort facts about Jehovah's organization on websites and through television and other media. Those lies are among Satan's burning arrows. How should we respond if someone confronts us with such lies? We reject them.
No, I'll bet you that they're gonna fabricate a lie when they're confronted I'll bet you they're going to fabricate a lie.
No, they wouldn't do that.
Sure they would. Oh, wait. What's this?
Yeah. Well, I just want to mention here, it says, because we have faith in Jehovah and we trust our brothers. Yeah, just listen to some of these child abuse cases,
Yeah.
and the Zulkin, interview and the press conference and all of those. If you listen to the whole thing, you'll see. No, you can't trust your elders because they will leave a pedophile in the congregation so that he can go and molest 18 more children.
Yeah.
So you cannot trust your brothers. And obviously you can't trust Jehovah because he's not protecting your organization or the children.
Or the children.
Or your money. I know, Kimmy's riled. Okay. My hair's sticking straight up. All right, so on with the elder's letter. Testigos Cristianos de Jehová. I know, my Spanish accent is terrible. Recommended procedure when aggression occurs in public witnessing. Dear brothers,
Also known as cart crashing.
the legal department of the branch has prepared practical guidelines to follow in the event that aggressive conduct affects public preaching activity.
What they're really trying to address is they're trying to say, Jehovah's Witnesses, you don't need to pack up and run away, because that's what they do. They pack up and run away.
Attached is a document entitled What to Do in Case of Aggression in Public Witnessing, which contains instructions. Please analyze the contents of this document and give the necessary instructions to the publishers who participate in the PPOC organized through the service overseer. In the case of PPAM, the overseer of each shift should review them frequently. It is important that a copy of the document be left in the carts used in the public witnessing area. We also attach a second document entitled Model Complaint for Aggression in Public Witnessing in Word format. If it becomes necessary to make a complaint, this can be used as a template, writing in the information. It is not necessary to have this document in the carts, as the complaint can be presented to the court later. If the police were to make the complaint, they would use an official form, although it would be useful to request that the aspects indicated in our model complaint be included. I love this last paragraph. As this world becomes ever more evil, we use the legal means at our disposal to defend ourselves from the hostility shown to us by the enemies of truth while relying entirely on Jehovah's protection.
Tell that to the kids that are getting raped. Watchtower, Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. Right, I got it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go to our sources comments. These are great. The document is entitled What to Do in the Case of Aggression During Public Witnessing Activity. First point it mentions is to call the police immediately, not the branch, hence highlighting that Watchtower value preaching carts more than the lives of abused children.
You see, Watchtower, you ain't pulling the wool over anybody's eyes except for the ignorant.
Yeah. But the real point of this is look at point 3. If you file a complaint at the police station, what should you say? So they actually tell the Jehovah's Witnesses what to say.
Okay.
And I'm going to read some of these.
Yeah, because here comes the lie.
Yeah. The complainant should identify the author as clearly as possible. Name, if known, physical appearance, clothing, etc. Relate facts, insults, and specific threats. Indicate if others were witnesses to what occurred. If possible, providing identification data. Particularly noteworthy are those allusions or insults that clearly show that the underlying motive was religious hatred, and that an act of worship sacred to Jehovah's Witnesses was interrupted.
You mean peddling magazines, peddling books is sacred service to God? You're working for a publishing company.
standing there on your phone, I guess, is a sacred worship of Jehovah.
Oh my God! What a bunch of morons these people are.
It should also be noted that whatever the profession and customary activity of the complainants at the time of the aggression, they were acting as ministers of the Testigos Cristianos de Jehovah religious confession. Sorry if this is a little off because Google Translate.
Acting as ministers. Acting as ministers. Wait a minute. How come you're not true ministers? How come you gotta act at this, Watchtower, Jehovah's Witnesses? Oh, because see, while you're playing some stupid little game while you're at your literature card, or basically standing at a four-way intersection where there's 0 foot traffic, yeah, you are acting. You ain't ministers.
Yeah. If the carts have been damaged, the police will probably ask who owns them in order to facilitate the option of asking for compensation.
Who owns them? Here comes the lie.
So you can get money. In this case, complainants should not say that the carts are the property of the religious denomination or congregation. Like publications, carts should be reported as the property of the brothers involved in the incident.
Satan, the father of lie, uses those under his control to spread lies about Jehovah and about our brothers and sisters. You're spreading a lie when you tell the police officers that you own those little literature carts.
Jehovah's Witnesses, you may believe what they tell you, but that's not what is in their elder's manual. Now I'm going to put chapter 23 up here, point 9, public witnessing equipment. There, as you can see underlined, it states the equipment will remain the property of the congregation. But yet they want you to report to the police that the cart belongs to you. To me, that sounds like a lie. And who's the father of the lie? Satan.
And he's using Jehovah's organization to do it because they're synonymous with each other.
So our source asks a very important question at the end of this email. So why are Watchtower clearly asking their members to lie to the police in an official report? The thing is, Jehovah's Witnesses, is if you tell the police this, and if one of the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who did the cart crashing takes this elder's manual into court with him and shows that the cart belongs to the congregation and can prove that you lied about this in an official police report, guess what? You lose your case.
For the cart crashers, Watchtower is trying to end this because this is completely humiliating to these people, because the best they can do is pack up their carts and leave. If you're going to continue to crash carts, again, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm telling you what I would do the next time I plan on crashing a cart. I would have a copy of this elder's letter along with those bulletin points that they want you to have that, and have a copy of the page from the Shepherd the Flock of God book to show that one is a lie. And if you can stick around long enough to the police officer to show up, present him with the evidence, because now that officer, and you got to remember, do not turn this into a religious thing. Do not refer to the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses. Refer to them as the corporation, the Watchtower Bible Tract Society Publishing Corporation, because that cop and that judge ain't going to give a rat's ass about a religious issue. But when you leave it in the field of a corporation, that's going to have some measure, especially when you can show the officer filing the complaint that those Jehovah's Witnesses are being manipulated to commit fraud against the state. That is going to be another chokehold against the Watchtower Bible Crap Society. Do not, and I would never approach this with an officer from a religious perspective. They don't care. What they want to hear is legal corporate words. And committing an act of fraud, filing a fraudulent complaint from a corporate perspective is not good for Watchtower. Bear that in mind, and if you're going to continue to do this, I would have both items with me, and to be able to leave one with the officer so that he can put it in the record as evidence that those Jehovah's Witnesses are attempting to commit fraud against the state.
See, and it's interesting because that part is underlined. Cart should be reported as the property of the brothers involved in the incident.
It's a lie, because the Shepherd of the Flock of God book says it belongs to the congregation.
Yep, it does.
You see, guys, it really appears that the Watchtower Bible Crap Society is to the point to where they're leaving the individual Jehovah's Witness out to dry. Because if you can get this, if you can get the courts and the lawyers and everybody to see that this is a corporation, a publishing company, not a religion, then maybe it's time for some people to start refiling grievances against them to stop their public publishing corporation from standing on corners and peddling published magazines, published books. Because see, it wasn't too many years ago in this country, one of the mid-western states banned Jehovah's Witnesses from preaching in their little town, and Watchtower once again took it to the Supreme Court and won. And I'll just about guarantee you that whole argument was fought from a religious perspective.
Google Stratton, Ohio versus Watchtower. It's out there.
Yes.
See, and the thing is they in here they say you want to stress to the cops that the underlying motive was religious hatred and that they violated the sacred act of worship to Jehovah their God. So they're making it a religious hatred act.
That sounds like what some political parties in this country are trying to do.
But the thing is if they're going to start crying religious hatred, it might be time to regroup and, do things a little bit differently, because this is what they're going to start using.
Go at it from a corporation perspective.
See, and those of you who are doing cart crashes, this is a heads up to you.
Yeah.
Watchtower has given everybody a heads up of what they're going to start doing. So
if the officer comes by, learn how to twist the religious hatred into corporate policies. Learn how to do that.
yeah, and just a suggestion, not legal advice, but just a suggestion, don't touch anyone and don't touch any of their carts or destroy their literature or anything like that, because that just gives them evidence in a case against you. Because don't be fooled, they are recording you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are recording you, and if they're going to start using this religious hatred ploy against all the cart crashers, you've got to watch yourself, because you will be hauled into court.
And learn to use the officer for your benefit. And like I said, these officers, they don't care about religious arguments. They really don't care about religious hatreds, because if it goes to the point of where you're going to be hauled to court, there's a separation between church and state. especially more so on the local levels. So learn to turn it into a corporation argument.
Yeah. Now, before we say goodbye here, be sure to, like I said, stay tuned for the news segment I recorded on our local news in Albuquerque. Wow, this has been a year-long investigation, and they actually interview Candace Conti in this one.
Good.
And they talk about the Montana lawsuit. Now, we are hearing that these segments are being played on news stations all over this country. It was played in California last night and a few states back east. So, it would be great if all of our JW families start seeing this and they know about the lawsuit coming against the governing body itself.
Yep.
So, I'm not giving anything away because that's what they said in the report. So listen carefully to all that he says.
Listen.
And all of the investigations going on in this country, because you kind of get a glimpse of this investigation and what they are doing. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yes. Yeah.
So thank you for watching, everybody, and thank you for your wonderful comments and emails and phone calls and everything else. And thank you to all of the brave abuse survivors,
Yes.
who are out there speaking up and telling their story and getting it out there. So,
Yep.
start spreading this all over the place. And I know the elders letter and stuff is available on social media already, because it was available this morning along with Zalkin's press release and everything else.
Yes, and there again, if you're gonna continue crashing carts, make sure you have both of those documents with you, the page in the Shepherd of the Flock of the God book and that elder's letter where they're telling the Jehovah's Witnesses that they own the carts, when in fact the Shepherd of the Flock of God book says they're property of the congregation.
Yeah.
That is a fraudulent lie. They are committing fraud.
And it would be great, if you would, be able to print up this press release and anonymously send it, to friends and family who are Jehovah's Witnesses.
And in fact, getting back to the police officer, you might even want to visit your local police station before you plan on continuing any cart crashing, and give them a heads up ahead of time and let them know that they're instructed to say, this is religious hatred, religious hatred. That way the officer can see the bullshit before it even starts flying at them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It would shut them down before.
Yep, that's right. So, Watchtower, you just keep putting out the crap, and we're going to keep giving suggestions, and everybody is going to be right up to speed, and your little cart witnessing is going to go by the wayside, just like the little pathetic door witnessing, because the world is educating itself now to who and what you people really are.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I can't beat that dead horse enough.
So thank you everybody for watching, and hopefully we'll have some more news, and we'll keep everybody up to date as I get this in.
Yep.
There's just so many emails coming in that it's hard for me to keep track of all of this.
Yeah.
But we will try our best to keep everybody updated. And, the same station link that I had on the last video for last night's episode, they did another one. So you can go to the same station, and I know Channel 7, our local news, is going to have all the links, and they even said they were going to have the Watchtower documents. So, as soon as that link comes up, I will put it down below this video.
Oh, maybe we should get a hold of this station and see if they want to interview some local people.
Maybe they already got an email.
Oh, okay.
With some information.
Oh, okay. Shh. Don't tell Watchtower.
But that's the thing, is, contact these news stations locally and say, look, I seen your report. I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. Anything you need, I can do interviews, anything like that, information, anything. So anyway,
Have fun with it, guys, because I'm just laughing my backside off at the insanity of all of this now.
yeah. Well, watching the news report, it's a good thing Mike was in the back bedroom talking on the phone, because I actually started crying. It's like, it's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time. So we're very happy that all of this is getting done, and this is great news. So let everybody know, because I know not everybody watches our videos, so let everybody know.
That's right.
All your friends and everybody in the XJW community, let them know. This is what's going on.
It's happening, friends.
Yeah, I talked to someone today, they didn't even know about the Supreme Court thing going on with the California case. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, you guys are way behind. So, you have a good evening. Till next time. Love you guys. Bye.
Our Washington Bureau is following shocking claims against a religious institution. The headquarters of the Jehovah's Witnesses taken to court again and again, accused of covering up the sexual abuse of children. Our national investigation is next.
You're watching KOAT Action 7 News.
Tonight, our year-long investigation into new allegations of child sexual abuse and cover-ups inside the Jehovah's Witness organization continues. Our National Investigative Unit has uncovered Attorney General offices in 3 states have been looking into it.
Now we go inside the court battle to hold religious leaders accountable. Here's Mark Albert.
Inside this courthouse in Thompson Falls, Montana, the Jehovah's Witnesses Church in September suffered its greatest court defeat ever in a U.S. child sex abuse case. And Dan Stinnett helped bring down Lady Justice's hammer.
Everybody agreed that they were guilty.
Stinnett, in his first interview about the case, explained how he and 8 other Sanders County jurors found the Jehovah's Witnesses governing organizations negligent and guilty of malice in the child sexual abuse of Alexis Nunez, awarding her $35 million. Through her Texas-based attorney, Neil Smith, Nunez declined an interview request because the church has appealed.
I believe they were trying to cover it up, yes. I have no doubt about that.
Were you trying to send a message?
Well, absolutely. We as jurors and as society really don't condone what goes on in any of this.
The Jehovah's Witnesses organization, which goes by several names, including Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and the Christian Congregation, and is headquartered northwest of New York City, has fought and settled cases coast to coast.
I'm a survivor.
Candace Conti, though, refused to settle and went to trial, and a California jury awarded her $28 million, the largest verdict against the organization at the time. Conti joined 12 others who say they were abused for a town hall with us in California. What was that moment like?
There's a strange validation that came from that. Having the jury not only say that they believe you, that they know that this happened, but that the organization was in the wrong in the first place. And I'm so sorry to everyone behind me and to everybody who's fighting right now. I wish above all else that they could have that same validation that I did. I really do.
Conti says she went to the elders, her congregation's leadership, to urge them to set Megan's Law alerts for automatic notices when convicted child molesters move into a new congregation, and to give leadership in the new area a photo of the person.
What I wanted was to help fill this gap in their policies and their procedures to help ensure that this isn't going to happen to somebody else. They wouldn't even listen to my idea.
An appeals court later slashed Conti's award amount dramatically after finding under state law the Jehovah's Witnesses had no duty to warn the congregation about confessed or convicted child molesters. The governing body of the organization and its spokesperson declined to do an on-camera interview with us about the Conti case or its policies in general. Instead, in a statement, they said, Jehovah's Witnesses abhor child abuse as a sin and crime. Our policies on child protection comply with the law, including any requirements for elders to report allegations of child abuse to authorities. Our organization will continue to promote child protection education for parents. Lawmakers have taken notice, moving bills forward in California, Pennsylvania, New York, and other states that would require clergy of all faiths to report allegations of abuse, add training, or extend the statute of limitations for victims to come forward.
How should they be held accountable, do you believe?
For Dan Stinnett, the juror in Montana who found the Jehovah's Witnesses negligent for failing to protect Lexi Nunez, justice may be blind, but his creator is not.
I believe they're going to be judged, and I believe it's going to be harsh. Judgment's coming, and it's coming on people just like those that violated these girls.
In Washington, I'm Chief National Investigative Correspondent Mark Albert.
Right now on KOAT.com, read the letters from the headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses ordering congregations to destroy documents, watch extended interviews as well, and view a digital slideshow of the abuse survivors. And we have resources to help those in need. To report suspected sexual abuse, call the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-HOPE or the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255.